going on, people? It's the 14th of June. I'm wearing my England jersey because England are playing Italy today in the World Cup. I will be supporting England and Nigeria throughout this World Cup. Those are the two nations I come from, but I don't think either of them are going to win, but you support them anyway. It's all part of the fun. Right, UFC news. Today's UFC 174. It's actually 10 minutes past 5 in the morning. I'm about to head out to work. I start work super early. That's part of the reason why it's been super hard for me to do these videos, because I start super early or I get home super late, and by the time I get home the event's already done, so I end up not doing videos at all. But I am going to try my best, and starting with today. Right, predictions for UFC 174. I'm going to do four of the main fights that I'm interested in. This is the reintroduction of Andrei Arlovski, the heavyweight. He's coming back to fight with the UFC after a long stint away. I remember he was a former heavyweight champion of the UFC, and then he lost. I think he lost to Tim. Yeah, he lost to Tim Sylvia. And then he went off, fought in Affliction, fought Fedor Emelianenko, was looking good for about a round and a half, and then got caught. Got caught when he got a little bit sloppy and started to attack, dropped his hands, and Fedor caught him. He also fought in Strikeforce. He's had a mixed bag career since he left the UFC. I'm frankly surprised, as were many, that he's been invited back to fight in the UFC, because he was doing okay, but he wasn't doing anything groundbreaking. I think that Dana White made this decision based more on how he feels about Andrei Arlovski on a personal level versus performance level. I mean, my man Anthony Johnson from the Black Zillions, he actually fought Andrei Arlovski and beat him. And Anthony Johnson is a light heavyweight, so for him to go up and fight a man at heavyweight and beat him at his natural athletic weight and then go back down to keep on fighting at light heavy lets you know that Andrei's not all he could be. But I'm glad to see him back. He's fighting Brendan Schaub, and Brendan Schaub's also had a mixed bag career. He's had some pretty decent wins, but he's also had some very memorable losses, notably the one against Nogueira, where Nogueira knocked him clean out. So it's going to be an interesting fight. I think they come from very, very good camps. Brendan's down there in California fighting with training with the Gracies. He actually trains with Hene Gracie, I think it is, and then you've got Arlovski fighting out of Greg Jackson's gym. So it's going to be a really, really interesting fight. Great strategies, I'm sure. But if I had to pick one, I'm going to go with Brendan Schaub. I think he's just sharper, better all round. And he's got more consistency at this UFC level. So Brendan Schaub it is. Next fight is Cavalcante versus Ryan Bader. Not too much to say on this. I think Cavalcante is pretty decent. I think Ryan Bader's decent. Obviously, Bader wins it in wrestling, Cavalcante in jiu-jitsu. Both of them have both of them have very good MMA hands. They're not like boxing specialists, but both of them have MMA hands. If I had to give it to one or the other, just based on the countdown videos, I would say Cavalcante seems to have better hands and faster hands, but I'd say Ryan Bader has heavier hands. To be honest, this is such an even fight to me, but I think that probably Ryan Bader, just because of where he is now mentally and everything else, I think Ryan Bader's going to win this. So I'll give it to Ryan Bader over Cavalcante, but it could go either way. Next fight up is, I'm trying to remember what's left on the card. Aha, how can I forget? Tyron Woodley and Rory McDonald. Now, Rory McDonald, he's this guy that everyone's been singing his praises. Yeah, GSP's, protege. He's going to be the next guy to represent Canada and the TriStar Gym and everything else. But Rory McDonald, I think he's great technically. He's amazing. I've seen him very well-rounded fighter. I've seen him do some amazing things. But I also feel that sometimes he gets a little bit too cool. You know, he comes from another camp where they're big on strategies and sticking to strategies, and I think that sometimes they're delusional as to your fighters losing a fight and you don't tell them, you don't let them know that, hey, you need to step your game up. So you know, Rory McDonald, he's had a few fights where if his corner, Faraz Sahabi, the guy that trains him, would have been a little bit more objective, he would have said, listen dude, you're 2 rounds down, you're losing, and step it up, or you know, think outside the box, go wild in there, something. But Rory seems to be this cool, calm, collected, and it's great when he's a front runner, but when he's losing, he's still cool, calm and collected, taking a beating. Doesn't make any sense to me. But he is still technically far better than Tyron Woodley. Tyron Woodley looks like a great physical specimen, muscles out to the sky and all that other good stuff. But the truth is that that doesn't mean that he's a better fighter. He's got decent wrestling and decent hands, but technically speaking, he is no way as good as Rory from a technical standpoint. Now, gas tank wise, Tyrone is built like a sprinter, you know, like most black guys, very, very explosive. Probably the first round or 2, he will do the business. But if this goes the full 3 rounds and performing at a high level over 3 rounds, that's where I'd probably have to side with Rory. You know, I did watch Tyron Woodley live. I actually watched the UFC that was out back in March 2014. I went to that and I saw him performing extremely well against Carlos Condit. So I think that, you know, that was a very, very good indicator of what Tyron Woodley can do. But I'd say if I have to pick on this fight, I'm going to give it to Rory. And then finally we've got the title fight, Johnson v Bagatinov. To me, it's not even a conversation. Johnson all day. Johnson's faster. Johnson's a pound for pound champ. I think the problem is that we as a society, we sort of like look at people, if you're not a certain size, then you're not, you know, you can't be a decent fighter. The truth is that Johnson is fighting at what, 125? 125? No, 125. And he is a monster. This guy is an absolute monster. Super fast, great jiu-jitsu, great Muay Thai. You know, he's super technical. He's just like everything to all men in MMA. He just covers the whole board, you know. And he's been a real mathematical equation that nobody's been able to solve at that weight. And something tells me that Sambo, as much as I love Sambo, I've researched Sambo. I actually became friends with a guy, Bradley Desire, just based off his Sambo ability. So I really do love the Russian martial arts Sambo. I'm very into that. But I don't think that Bagatinov's Sambo is going to be enough to take on Demetrius Johnson. So easily Demetrius Johnson by knockout, by points, whatever it is, but it's Demetrius Johnson all the way. Alright, these are my picks for UFC 174. My pick for the World Cup soccer match today is England's going to probably lose to Italy. I say 1-0. It'll be great if England win though, but I think that Italy's going to take them out. And then on Monday, Nigeria's playing. At work, where I work, I managed to lobby and get them to allow us to wear our jerseys on match days. So on Monday I will be wearing my Nigerian jersey. They're going to be playing Iran, and once again I don't really hold out much hope for our chances, but it's all part of the fun, just watching the games, watching the skills, and you never know, England and Nigeria might prove me wrong. Anyway, I'll speak to you guys in a bit, and yeah, I'll try my very best to do a video after the actual fights, tell you what I thought. Alright, take care.